Hi, welcome to Unit 6, Day 5. This is the data video for unknown number 3. So while watching this video, make sure that you record data in your lab document. So the first step is to choose and write down your unknown number. And if you're watching this video, that means you have chosen unknown number 3. So you're going to take that number and write it down in the data table inside of the red bracket where it says unknown. So make sure you record your unknown number. All right. The second step is to weigh an empty evaporating dish and record the mass in your data table. So you're going to take your evaporating dish, and when we put it on the scale, it reads 14.78 grams. So we're going to record that number here in the first row of our data table. All right, the third step is to weigh approximately 3 grams of your unknown into the evaporating dish and record the mass of the evaporating dish and the unknown hydrate. So what we're going to do is we're going to take out about 3 grams. Now, I noticed that the mass of the empty evaporating dish is about 14.78 grams. So if I want to weigh out approximately 3 grams, I want the mass to be about 17.78 grams. All right, so go ahead and add about that much in, and I get 17.83 grams, and that's fine. All right, and we're going to record that data into our data table here where it says 17, where it says mass of evaporating dish and unknown hydrate. We'll enter in our value there. All right, now we're going to go ahead and heat our solid. So remember, our solid is a hydrate, and hydrates have loosely bound water to the ionic compounds, and by heating, you can remove those waters. Now, as you know, we're heating this to remove the waters from the hydrate. What do you think that's going to do to the mass of the hydrate if we remove the water? By removing the water, will that increase the mass or decrease the mass? That's right, it's going to decrease the mass because it's losing mass, it's losing the water molecules. Okay, so we're going to heat this for 5 minutes to try and remove all the water molecules. Let's go ahead and now turn off our Bunsen burner, and we're going to carefully remove the evaporating dish with some tongs because it's pretty hot. So before we weigh it again, we have to wait for it to cool down. All right, it's cooled down to room temperature. We can now go ahead and reweigh it on the scale. Okay, put it on the scale, and we get 16.88 grams. So as you can see, the mass has gone down. So we're going to record that here, 16.88 grams. That's in the third column of our data table. All right, now what we need to do is we need to make sure that we've actually removed all the waters. And the way that we do that is we're actually going to repeat the last few steps of this process where we heat it and weigh it. Now, the reason why we're doing that is because if we removed all the waters, the next time that we heat it and weigh it, the mass should be the same as the previous mass, right? So if we go back to our data table, if we've removed all the waters, then the mass the second time we do this heating process should be about 16.88 grams, pretty close to that value. And if it's not, then we know that we haven't removed all the waters. And so in that case, that means we'll need to repeat it again. And we're going to keep repeating it until the values, the masses are about the same. So let's go ahead and do that. We're going to take our solid, and this time we're just going to heat it for about 2 minutes to see if we can remove any more water from this hydrate. All right, it's been 2 minutes. We'll turn off the Bunsen burner, and with our tongs, remove the evaporating dish. Go ahead and let it cool down to room temperature. And then once it's cooled to room temperature, we're going to reweigh it. All right, so now we get a mass of 16.70 grams. And I go ahead and put that in my table here in the fourth column for the second mass. Now, if you compare the second mass with the previous mass, the first is technically the first mass, I guess, these are significantly different. We went from 16.88 to 16.70. So clearly we've lost more water. So now we have to do this at least a third time to make sure we removed all the water. All right, so once again, we're going to heat it and then reweigh it. All right, so we're heating this again for 2 minutes. Let's see if we removed all the water this time. All right, turn off the Bunsen burner, remove our evaporating dish and let it cool down to room temperature. Let's go ahead and reweigh it. This will be our third weighing, and this time we get 16.69 grams, and we're going to go ahead and record that in for our third mass. And if you compare the second and the third mass, these two numbers are approximately the same. Like they're practically the same, right? It's only that last digit, the uncertain digit, which is off. So that means we must have removed all of the waters, all right? So we don't need to do this again. We don't need to do a fourth draw. Okay, that is it for this video. So what you're going to do now is you are going to work on your calculations and then answer the post-lab questions. All right, folks, have a quality day.